a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
I am excited to be back in the I'm excited to be back in the TikTok Creator Studio here at the 2025 National in Chicago, and I am just thrilled to be joined by my good buddy Sean Case, Mr. Victory Investments on Instagram. What is up, young bucks? What is up? How are you?
There's a Giannis Antetokounmpo fan out there.
Good to see you. Yes, yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, come on, I'm a Blue Jays fan too. Don't be doing that. What's up, the Cleveland Indians walking by? We got NASCAR. What's going on? Horns. All right, Sean, it's good to be here with you.
Thanks,
back in the TikTok studio here at the National. We are on Saturday, so really it's a 5-day show. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday have come and gone almost quicker than you would expect. How's it been for you so far? Has it been a whirlwind? What's going on?
It's been awesome, man. You know, the National it's a marathon, not a sprint. You know, this is the first National I ever came to, Jeremy, was 2015 here in Chicago. So I've been to 15, 17, 19. I don't remember if we had 21.
21 was Atlantic City.
Last time I was here was 23, and then this year. And this is definitely the busiest of all 5.
That is your 5th. This
Yep.
is your 5th National.
Yep.
It is definitely, yeah, I'm sensing it's busy. One thing I will say is that the environment it's pleasant this time. You know, the Wi-Fi is working well. How are you finding just your general physical comfort in the facility this time?
100% better. So, you know, the last time I was here, actually this particular section and a little bit, I guess that would be west of here, was as hot as can be at one point. It looks like they've completely got that taken care of. In fact, it's kind of cold in this area, which is nice when you're walking around. So I'm loving that aspect of it because you want to be comfortable. And you know, Jeremy, what it does is it cuts down the sweating.
Oh yeah.
And when the sweating is cut down, the smell is cut down. So we're neutralizing the smell a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know, it's been awesome, man. I love it. You can never see everything that you want. That you just can't see it all. The hardest thing for me is when I see a card that I like. Finding it again if I don't really document it, take good photos. And even if you take good photos, sometimes it's hard because a card will move around a little bit. But I've been having a blast, and it's great to see all the people out here. Is that a Duke fan walked by? So it's been great, Jeremy.
Good, man. It is nice. It's funny that we talk about air conditioning and comfort, but it is. This is an intensely attended event. And there we go, Jerry Petrie in the house. What's up, Jerry? What's up, buddy? Good to see you. And you want to be comfortable, and they've made some great improvements to the facility itself, the show, the layout, more dealers. It's been great. But I want to get into I want to ask you, Sean.
Yeah,
Listen, we love coming to this event. We love seeing each other, seeing friends that we've been making over the years. You know, this is your 5th National. I've probably seen you at all of them. We keep in touch. Outside of being at the show, you know, that's one of the wonderful things about social media and just building relationships in our hobby. We make so many great friends through our common love of sports cards and collecting.
Right.
We are blessed to be a part of this community, and it's great to be here. But I really want to hear from you. Pickups. I mean, here we are. We're 4 days into the show. And I don't know, have you blown your budget yet? How are things looking? Have you traded away some cards? Have you made any pickups? What's that look like for you? So Mark Hill from My Card Post. What's going on, Mark Hill from My Card Post? Good to see you, buddy.
Great to see the people out there. Yeah. Hey guys, looking good out there. We got a big pickup being seen out there. Well, Jeremy, you know, every year I'll bring cards as trade bait, and then I'll bring a cash budget. This year, I spent my cash budget, I think, within the first 30 minutes of being here. It's sometimes works that way. So it was just a really cool story. There had been an awesome lady that reached out to me about 6 months ago. She saw a video that I did on the 33 Goudey Ruth. And it turned out that her father, who had passed away about a year before, had left a bunch of really cool old vintage cards. And the family had just discovered them, that he didn't let them know. So, I walked with her through the process of getting the cards graded, what to do, kind of all that. So she comes to the National. She's got this 33 Goudey Ruth that she only ended up getting one of these cards graded, and it was the Ruth. And there was a 38 Goudey DiMaggio in there, and there were some cool cards in there. We were expecting, I analyzed this card. I thought at best it'd be a PSA 1. We're shocked it gets a PSA 2, which just about doubles the value on the card.
Yeah.
So she decides to kind of walk it around. She is not a collector. She wanted to get rid of the card. Long story short, we'd built a relationship. I made her a cash offer deal that was all the cash that I had on me. We made the deal, which was really, really special for her because it was a form of an inheritance to her. She's obviously not a collector. She did the deal, left, and took a trip to London.
Oh, wow.
And so flew right out. I was planning on keeping that card, even though I had two of this same card. That card ended up being involved in a bigger trade today with multiple cards. It worked out awesome, so it was really cool. But that's why you just never know what is going to happen, and you can't really come in with a perfect game plan because there's a lot of different things that can happen at a show.
Oh yeah, you have to remain flexible, versatile, adaptable to the changing fluidity of the circumstances throughout the show. You can go to one table one day, go back the next day. Either the inventory is rearranged or there's new things in there, but back to, so the Babe Ruth, you bought it from the lady, you gave her cash, you spent your money budget with her, and then you traded it away here at the same show into something bigger and better, I'm assuming. What was that like? Like, when you picked up the Babe Ruth from her in the first place, was your initial intention to hold it for the long term, but then you just found something that you like more? How did you go through that process?
Yeah, well, it was kind of a mix. Obviously, a 33 Goudey Babe Ruth in that yellow, that number 53, is a card. It's one of my all-time favorite cards for good reason. I love the card. So when that card pops up, it's hard for me to turn down. And it because of this specific situation with this lady and having built a friendship with her over 6 months, it just was something that felt right to do. She got a great deal on it. I got a card that I knew I could hold it. Because it was a double, it was one where I thought, you know what? I'll hold this as long as I need to, or this is such a great card, this could be trade bait for something else that pops up. And so then I ended up finding this other card, a card that I'd wanted for a long time, actually never owned it, been on a lifetime grail list, and saw it earlier yesterday, and then ended up kind of working on the deal until about 1 a.m. last night on Instagram. We finalized it, and then completed it today at the show.
Oh, it's so interesting though how you acquire it. You don't know what's going to happen. You think I'm either going to keep it for the long term or I'll use this trade bait, and then that opportunity presented itself where that card came in very handy to you. It's nice that it was a double because that is an iconic card. It's probably a top 10 iconic card of all time. The 1933 Goudey Babe Ruth, the yellow background, number 53.
Right.
Absolutely a stunner of a card, but it's not really that rare of a card. So and I don't know if you're ready to divulge the card you picked up yet. You might want to save that for later on, so I want to honor that. But is the card you picked up an iconic card? Is it as important as a Babe Ruth from 1933? What can you tell us without maybe divulging what that card is?
Yeah. So it is another vintage card, and it's one that I've learned. I want to kind of enjoy cards a little bit sometimes before I share. There have been times where I've gotten a big card, I share right away, and that's fun too because then you've got all your hobby friends that are celebrating with you. But this specific card, I want to get home, kind of just let everything settle in, enjoy it for a while before I share. But it is an iconic card. it, in my opinion, is potentially the best card of this specific player. So yeah, I'm head over heels, man. You know, one thing I learned from Dr. Beckett was talking about his 48-49 Leaf Satchel Paige, and how at one point, I'm not sure if he still does, but how he owned 2 copies of that card. And he said he wasn't looking to sell either one, but he knew that if something else popped up down the road, he's got the one for trade bait. And that's how I was looking at those 2 33 Goudey Ruths.
Right.
Is keep one that you like, and then if something pops up, which something did end up popping up a couple hours later, yeah, I had it as trade bait. And that was probably the main card that kind of sealed the deal, you know, on that trade. So yeah, super excited, and yeah, man, it's been great.
That's a great situation for you. I'm excited for you, and you know, I'm even also excited you traded away that Ruth, which is now with a vendor. I understand, and that vendor is going to find another great home for that card. Hey, Brian Lee Arena Club, what's going on, Brian Lee Arena Club? I often
This is like Sports Cards Live, but
Right.
but the
Yeah,
comments
of the people
are
walking by.
actual real humans walking by. No, I like it, man.
I'll shout you out if you walk
That's
by.
a cool Giannis jersey right there that we're looking at.
Very nice. Yeah, it looks like it's been painted on. Very cool. Very cool. So it's just neat the way these cards, they do make their way through the hobby, different owner after owner in some cases. And I was thinking about this the other day, you know, with the ultra modern hobby and the rise of the repack product and the proliferation of breakers and how cards move around, whether it's auction or card shows or private deals, repacks, group breakers. Cards have several owners before they find their final resting home, or at least a long-term family to join in a collection.
Right.
And that, I was thinking about that in the context of modern cards, but now you've got me thinking about it in the context of vintage cards. And I was just out looking at cards on the floor before we came in here today.
Right.
And I was wondering to myself, okay, I'm here right now. There's a few cards that I like, but nothing that's for the specific card, nothing that is the right copy for me. And then I was thinking to myself, well, I'll come back next year. The National will be back here in Chicago again in 2026. And I thought, maybe I'll find them then. But then I thought, well, where are they going to come from? If they're not here now, where are they going to come from? And I kind of thought, just from other dealers, other collectors who are moving. So these cards, they move from person to person. Do you ever look at a card that you own, maybe even the one that you traded for today, do you ever look at one of these cards and think to yourself, if only this card could tell me its story, its history? I can tell you every city, every house I've lived in my 50-something years, but these cards can't speak for themselves. And I think that's it's kind of a, you know, a benefit and a bit of a I don't want to say cost, but a non-benefit or value. Like, I would like to know the story behind my cards, especially the vintage ones, the path they have traveled, but at the same time, it's that mystery and lack of understanding that keeps them sort of mysterious as well. Do you ever think about that or something similar at all?
Sure, absolutely. Well, that was one of the things that was so cool about picking up this 33 Goudey Ruth. I knew the 40-year history that this lady shared. You know, her dad had bought the card back in, I believe it may be even have been the late 70s, and just had it sitting in a binder all that time. So it's cool. You know, I love a good modern card. As you know, I'm a Patrick Mahomes guy, so he's not a vintage guy, so I gotta love where his cards are. So there are modern cards that I really enjoy. The difference with modern and vintage is, like you said, the life that they've lived. Modern cards, especially the ones that have just come out in the last couple years, just haven't had enough time to live a lot of life. The longer life a card has to live, to me, and especially if it's the right card, the more important it becomes. And so, you know, you look at some of these really old, like, let's take your Shoeless Joe Jackson card. I can't imagine how a card that beautiful has been preserved. Whose hands was it in all those years to make it, 111 years and still look that beautiful with vibrant colors? Somebody actually cared enough to take care of it. But then you do think, you know, one of the coolest things about the hobby, when I first came in was the trading aspect. That's what you did with your buddies. You traded cards. That was fun. And so the hobby ecosystem is something that to me is very, very cool because I may buy a card from you and I know that you've owned it and you got it from somebody else. And it's awesome to think about how cards change hands, the areas they've lived in. I mean, that Shoeless Joe, who knows whose home that has been in. And, thankfully it wasn't a smoker.
For sure.
So the slab smells okay. Sometimes we smell our slabs to make sure. But no, I love thinking about it, especially when you talk about older cards and the history of cards.
It is the stories that they could tell. We're talking about the provenance, really, of these cards, where they come from, and I think provenance is becoming more important in the hobby to collectors because a lot of these cards aren't rare. They're iconic, but they're not rare. There are plenty copies out there. So first, maybe you find the copy that speaks to you from an aesthetic, a condition, whatever you're maybe you're more sensitive to centering or you're more sensitive to corners, whatever it might be. You find the copy that speaks to you, and then if you want to take it to that next level, you can then say, okay, that's the first filter. The second filter now is, where was this card? Who do I know who the previous owner or owners were? When I bought that Joe Jackson Cracker Jack you mentioned, I found the auction catalog that the previous owner bought it from. Mm-hmm. And in that catalog, it said whose collection that was from.
That's awesome.
So I know 2 buyers back. And it just so happened that person used to own a card shop in Texas with none other than Dr. James Beckett.
Wow.
So the fact that card likely went through his shop, maybe even his hands, before it was ever slabbed up is really cool.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I think provenance is great. So we talked about the Babe Ruth that you bought. You traded away for something that's more important. So I want to ask a question, which is, what makes a card worth owning to you? And this is not a simple question, and I think it's a layered answer. So I'm going to say a few more words to give you a moment to get your thoughts straight as I turn the mic over to you. But what is it? What do you have a filter system that you put every card through as you decide if it's worthy of your collection or something that you want to purchase? How do you decide what makes a card worth owning to you, Sean?
Sure. Well, I think there's a big difference between each card has a purpose when you buy it, and some may be cards that you're buying for the long term. Others may be a quick flip. I love doing it all. I'm a collect a flip a vester, and so I love to be able to get a $50 card that just speaks to me on the day that I buy it. But then it comes in and I think, well, I didn't really love this, and you move it. But then the cards that you want to keep for the long term have to speak something about who you are as a collector. Jackie Robinson is very important to me as a collector. So when I buy a Jackie Robinson card, it's because it's speaking about a value that I have. I love the set, I love the card, I love the image, and most importantly, I love the player. When it comes to, maybe newer modern stuff, it may be cool, maybe a cool parallel. Those cards, in most cases, aren't going to be cards that stick around long term. But when I'm putting together, the more I've learned, I want my cards to do well together. I like pairings, and even beyond pairings, I like when I lay all my cards out together, I like them to look good together. So a Sophie Cunningham gold prism doesn't look great next to a T206 Ty Cobb. Well, people might argue that. I don't know. They may argue that, but I like it to, when I'm curating a collection, the stuff that I really want to keep for the longer term, I want them all to fit together. So I like putting together, iconic vintage rookies or iconic signed rookies, but it has to be something more than anything that speaks about you as a collector. Whether it's your fandom for your team, whether it's a player that you love, it's got to be something that speaks to you. What I learned years ago, Jeremy, was to not buy cards that I think maybe other people like, but I don't like them. A lot of times, if you don't like the card, there's a good chance that other people don't like the card either. And when it comes down to it, if something else comes up and you've got a card you're sitting on that you don't really like, that's going to be the first thing that you end up moving, and you may lose on it. And so it's you hear it a lot, but it's because it's true. Buy and collect what you like and how you like.
Well said. A couple things I want to dive into that really triggered my mind when you were speaking there. So, hi, Christy. How are you? What's up? Good to see. Good to see. Christy's a key cog in this whole national operation. Okay, so first thing I want to ask you is, we as collectors are like right into this hobby. We love our cards, and our cards somewhat can become a part of our hobby identity. And when you said, you think about a card, does it fit into your collection? How does it fit into your collection? Do you consider, when you are purchasing a card, how much it complements the identity that you've carved out for yourself in the hobby, and not maybe just public facing, even internally as you think about it? Because we do, especially when we share cards on social media.
That vintage Dan right there?
No, that's not Dan.
Okay. It looked like him.
Looks like Dan's vintage. Hello, sir. I often think about that. Are we trying to collect to please ourselves? Are we trying to collect to please others, to flex our pickups? I mean, I know for me, I want cards that are meaningful, that I think become when you're 40 years into this thing, you've gone through a lot of iterations of what you collect. Right. And I think we're always evolving towards something. And now I feel like my collection has become a part of my hobby identity. And so when you think about what makes a card worth owning to you, it's really like, is this a card? And I don't even know what that means when I say hobby identity. I just mean, like, is this a card I'm going to love? Mm-hmm. And when I look at it, does it give me do I have a feeling, like butterflies in my stomach, something that's, what's up, fellas? Something that's like psychosomatic that just kind of runs through you. And I do. When I was coming to this show, and the number one pickup that I wanted to find, which I did find, I had the tingles going through me thinking I might find it at this show and leave with it. And that's just, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know what that is. Passionate hobbyist, complete whack job who just likes cardboard.
Shout out to the Dallas Mavericks out there. Justin Jefferson,
Justin Jefferson. So anyway, I don't even know what this means, but it's just a part. Maybe it's like a collector's nature.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think so. When you lay your cards out in front of you, the card that you're most drawn to pick up and hold the longest, that to me is your kind of deepest hobby card identity. And so if let's say you lay out 10 of your top cards, but you're kind of always gravitating towards 2 or 3 of them that you pick up, and the other ones, they just kind of sit there. You like them, but if you were to divide your time out, you'd rather be looking at these top 3. I'd say kind of start going more towards ones that make you feel like that.
Yeah.
And that's not always going to be it's not always going to be possible, because maybe those top 2 or 3 are some high-end cards, and maybe they're rare, but the ones that give you that feeling when you're talking about curating something that matters to you, those are the ones that you really want to try to duplicate that process. But again, we get the fun cards where we may be looking at some real expensive cards, multiples of thousands of dollars. But then there may be a fun card that pops up that's $25, and you're like, man, this is just a cool card. I'd love to own it. And there's merit to that too. So
yeah, there's different. We have different buckets, I think, of collecting. Several of us do, and I do too. Some cards I collect and it really comes down to how much am I spending, as far as how much do I care about the future value. Let's say, if whatever it is, I buy a card for $25, it might not matter. I just like it, and if I decide I don't like it anymore, no big deal. If I'm spending in the thousands, I want to know that I'm going to love that card for my collection. So, but when you mention, your 2 or 3, if you have 1,000 cards, 2 or 3 is not that many. So then you can just scale that number up. But as a final discussion topic, because we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, pairing cards. I like to pair cards together. So this is a new concept that kind of was flushed out on an episode of Sports Cards Live recently, where we were talking about type collecting. Type collecting is when you go back in time, maybe you pick, pre-war baseball, and you say, I want to own 1 card from every pre-war baseball set. So you've got all the different types of cards represented in your collection. Maybe player matters, maybe the player depicted on the card doesn't matter, but type collecting is an approach many people take. 1 card per set. Well, that doesn't work for me, because now these are all lonely singles from their own set. So we developed this concept again on an episode of Sports Cards Live, where when you go to the pub and you want to sample all the beers, they call it a flight.
Okay.
A flight, and you're getting a couple ounces of 5 different beers, and you get to taste them all. Well, so we adopted that term in collecting, or at least in the very small Sports Cards Live community, called flight collecting. So let's say you have 1 card from 1948 Leaf, 49 Leaf. Let's say you have the Jackie rookie, which we both have a copy of. But maybe I want to complement it with some other cards. So for me, a flight is anywhere from 3 to 5 for me. So I might want to add a couple more cards from the 48, 49 Leaf set, so that I can now put 4 cards from that set together, because they look wonderful together. The 1941 play ball set.
Yeah.
Another set, 49 Bowman, 48. Like, there's so many beautiful sets out there where 1 card just isn't enough. So flight collecting lives between type collecting and set collecting. What have you heard this? Did you happen to catch that episode of Sports Cards? Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I love it. So, I think you've got the flight collecting within sets, or the flight collecting within players. So, you could, let's say we'll use the 48 Leaf Jackie. That looks awesome next to the 48 Leaf Babe Ruth.
Sure.
Or DiMaggio, or the Ted Williams, or
the Spawn.
The Larry Doby. Looks great next to that card.
Yeah.
Or you could take a different route and go that player route, where you put it next to a 49 Bowman Jackie.
Yeah.
And there's a good pairing there. One of my favorite pairings that I'll share, that a recent pickup I got here at the show, first day, was a red T206 Ty Cobb. And I got that as a pairing for my green T206 Ty Cobb. The green and red Christmas colors look awesome together. But there is something when a card is sitting by itself, and then you bring its buddy along, and it's a pairing, and then maybe it's 2 or 3 or 4, that it seems to enhance it in your collection.
It really does. So now what you've done is you've introduced a second sort of layer or opportunity. You can do a flight collection from a specific set. Say you want to do 48 Leaf, 48 Bowman, 1951 Bowman, 33 Goudey, whatever it is. And if you can then work it out so that you've got, say, 4 different players in 4 different sets, now you can take those 16 cards. You can either arrange them now by player or by set. And this might sound just so silly. So you're talking about how you're going to lay your cards out on the table? Yes.
I'm talking about
how I'm going to lay my cards out on the table so that I can enjoy them. What's going on, Logan Ward? So that I can enjoy them in different ways. And that's kind of where I'm at. 45 years into collecting, that's what is turning me on in the hobby right now, is adding cards that are beautiful. I don't need only rookie cards anymore. I like into the career non-rookie year cards. If they are beautiful, 1950 Bowman Jackie Robinson is just an absolute stunner of a card. It looks great with many others. It's not a rookie, so what? Like, I don't want to limit myself there anymore, and I did for a long time. But hey, we are all evolving. Let yourself evolve in the hobby, in the content, in the discussions. It's been nice to sit in here with you, Sean.
Man, it's awesome.
Yeah, really great. I hope you have a great rest of the show.
Same to you.
Maybe some more success out there on the floor.
Never know. It's the hobby Wild West out there. You never know what's going to happen.
This has been a great week so far, and there's still most of Saturday and all of Sunday yet to come. Any parting words? Words of wisdom, advice you'd have for anybody who maybe looking to dive deeper into the hobby.
Enjoy it, buy what you like, have fun, take your time, don't get overwhelmed, don't feel like you've got to hit everything up. If you see a table you like, spend time there at the table, talk to people, learn about cards you may not know about. This is a great time for education. It's a great time to learn more about the history of the cards that you're interested in or those you don't know about, and just have fun. Yeah.
Don't always just follow the crowd, follow your heart, collect what you love, and you will always be successful in the hobby. Thank you, Sean, for this. This was great.
Absolutely.
As
Honored
always.
to be here.
All right, my guy.
Sports cards are a lifestyle.
You know it. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks for tuning in and being a part of the Sports Cards Live community. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and most of all, keep collecting. More great content to come. Sports Cards is a lifestyle.